BSDNC, MSNBC reportedly offers Joy Reid and Stephen Rule pay cuts to stay in anchor chairs. This is not no good. Not no good at all. Bad, very bad. All right, I'm quoting Idiocracy. Not good. Not good. Really not good. All right. And whoa, while we're doing this story, Darren was $100 of a super chat. Thank you, Kit. We are all family at HLM. Thanks for everything. Well, hey, buddy, sit down and relax because you're about to witness something historic, or the beginning of something historic, the full-on beginning stages, because it all happens slowly, the downfall of corporate media. So thank you so much. Your $100 super chat is very appreciated, especially this time before Christmas. Thank you for your generosity and your kindness. All the best to you. So there you go. Let's go ahead and pull up this article here from New York Post here, because, folks, this is getting all over the interwebs, okay? MSNBC's Joy Reid and Stephen Rule will reportedly need to take a pay cut if they want to remain in their anchor chairs as the struggling cable network continues to cut its losses. As we have covered in the past, corporate media is losing its viewership. Now, in comparison to 2016, when Trump got elected into office, corporate media got a boost. Venture capitals were investing in also online media, doing a lot of Trump derangement stories. But see, the thing is, 2024 is giving different results because everything that's been said about Trump has been said already. What can be said? Trump walked down the street. Oh, no. Trump dropped a piece of paper on the floor. Goodness gracious. So let's talk about this. And again, listen, MSNBC is not left-leaning. It's corporatist, but whatever. I'll read it. I will follow the orders. The left-leaning news channel, which it's not, which recently gave star anchor Rachel Maddow a $5 million year haircut from her annual $30 million haul. By the way, shout out to Nick Thompson, who was a co-host with me when we covered this show. He's like, she's fine. She's got $25 million. But my goodness, Rachel Maddow's only working like what, once a month? Well, that's a nice cushy job there. But, work ethic is key. Has been negotiating with Reid and Rule on new deals at reduced salaries. Wow. The controversial Reid is believing to be earning $3 million a year to host her nightly 8 p.m. show, The Reid Out, according to Washington Free Beacon. Reid, who has been with the network since 2011 and in primetime since 2020, recently raised hackles against with a pre-Thanksgiving rant in which she accused Republicans of worshiping Donald Trump instead of Jesus. Listen, I spoke to my fair share of Trump supporters, all right, and some the majority of them were just like, I just didn't want to vote Democrat. Okay? There's some just like, he was the lesser of two evils. And listen, here's how I feel about the lesser of two evils. You're still voting for evil, but nonetheless, I get why people voted for Trump. But I've spoken to a lot of Trump supporters, and it's this whole idea of worshiping him. Those are unhinged people that even cause regular voters to be like, okay, this person's kind of off on the deep end. All right? But even then, if you are in charge of media, maybe it's best not to use your platform by saying, oh, yeah, these groups of people are just crazy. Because, everybody does it, okay? Rule, host of the 11th hour at 11 p.m. weeknights, is out to make $2 million a year, the Free Beacon reported. She's also been a frequent Trump basher, but recently praised him for being more accessible to the press than President Biden. Well, it's because Biden lost his brain. Rule revealed that she was able to contact Trump on his cell phone, though he told her to go F myself when she asked for an interview. Hey, let me test fate here. Donald Trump, you want to show up on Hard Lens Media? Give me a call. More than happy to interview you. You know what? We'll do it at Trump Tower. Kit Cabello interviews Donald Trump. I don't know if he told her that, but whatever. Fine. A third prominent host, Jonathan Limmer, who is elevated this month as co-host Morning Joe from anchoring way too early, has been offered a new contract at a reduced salary. An MSNBC spokesman reached by the Post said a network would not comment on personal matters. It's because they're hemorrhaging people, okay? They're hemorrhaging viewers. Comcast is thinking about letting go of MSNBC, making its own thing, separating from its profile. If you watch Hard Lens Media, I praise the show Succession. I introduced it to a lot of my friends and family members already. And if it doesn't, listen, all the characters in there are deplorable, but it is an example of how media is run in this country. and just how insane it is. The report lowball offers follow an exclusive story by the Post that staffers at MSNBC headquarters and at 30 Rock are in panic over looming layoffs after parent company Comcast announced plans to spin off its cable properties. The upheaval has led to reports that MSNBC President Rashida Jones is considering leaving the network after Trump is sworn in on January 20th. The captain is abandoning the ship. My goodness. Even the captain of the ship that sank off of Italy stayed on the boat longer. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but whatever. All right, a spokesperson for Jones denied she was leaving. Meanwhile, MSNBC ratings continue to nosedive, tanking more than 60% since last month's historic election victory by Trump. It fell behind ratings challenge CNN in the coveted 25 to 54 demographic for the year of total day viewers. While the two not left-leaning, please, I cannot stress this out enough. While the two left-leaning networks have seen an erosion in audience over the past months, Fox News viewership has grown 7% since Election Day, according to Nielsen figures. The conservative network also extended its reign as number one cable news channel in total viewers and the key 25 to 54 demographic for the ninth year in a row. Fox News shares common ownership with the Post owner News Corp. Yes, because it's all there, and I'm willing to bet there are people at Fox News doing a dance-off, pants-off. But hold on. This would not be Heartland's Media without CNN. Hang on, folks, because Brian Seltzer, he's often relying on random anonymous accounts, these websites. These users are trying to present themselves as the new CNN, the new New York Times. He's talking about the new media. Well, CNN, MSNBC, your failure to adapt these challenging, tough times, and the fact that corporate media had to bully itself way onto the social media platforms so the algorithm could favor them says a lot, because people are choosing not to watch CNN and MSNBC. I want to pull up this video here. Brace yourself, folks. There seems to be a lot of bitterness.
He's oftentimes relying on random anonymous accounts, these websites, these users on X who are trying to present themselves as the new CNN, the new New York Times, but have no research behind them, no backing, no institutional knowledge. And I understand that for Musk, that's really appealing. It's exciting on his platform, but he ends up misleading a lot of people. It is striking how he does seem to be learning about lawmaking in real time. And just a moment ago, he tweeted about all the coverage of him in the last 24 hours. There's been all these questions, Dana. Is he the real president-elect? Is he the shadow president? Well, Musk responded on X. He says, the political and legacy media puppets are all echoing the same idea, parroting the same message, trying to drive a wedge between Trump and me. And Musk adds, they will fail. I don't think anybody.
Okay, look, there's a lot to be said about X. Here's the thing about X, all right? Like any social media platform, it does have its problems. But one thing cannot be denied is that its influence in our political discourse, in news and sharing information. Are there problems with it? Yes, there's problems with a lot of things. But this is the world we live in. This is the reality. Is it correct? Yeah, it's debatable, but this is the internet. This is social media. This is how people get their news. And things do need to adapt better. But this is also showing how the old systems of CNN and MSNBC are not adapting to the new environment. And what have we seen throughout the entire history of life on this planet Earth? The organisms, plants, animals, no matter the size or shape, if they fail to adapt to a shift and change of the environment, they will die out. If they fail to evolve as the world changes around them, then they will go in the long, sad history of extinction. Even the mightiest of creatures and the smallest all die out. And now this also applies for the corporations too. Corporate media, for a very long time since the Telecoms Act, enjoyed the monopoly of controlling the narrative, and that power has slipped from them. Independent media, for example, is rising up. We're seeing our influence grow. But see, the thing is, here's where your power comes in too. There shouldn't be one thing, one entity in charge. I have said on the show, I believe in citizen journalists. Each of you have a story. Each of you know what's happening in your neck of the woods. We know the problems. We see it. We know there's unchecked corruption. We know we got politicians who are senile and corrupt. This is the madness that we deal with. We have to have our voices heard. Corporate media won't do the job because corporate media is going bust. Now, the thing is, I knew one day corporate media was going to be getting a gut check. But even I was caught off guard with how bad MSNBC and CNN got hit at a bar, okay? If you ever been to a bar or a nightclub, and you're minding your own business, you're like, you're dancing, having a good time, and somebody decides to get stupid with somebody else. Like we've all seen an altercation at the club, and that one person just wham gets a gut check or knocked on the ground. You're like, whoa! I gotta tell you, after November 5th, covering the election, talking about it, at the bar, like, yeah, wow, yeah. I was not expecting CNN and MSNBC to be getting a beating. It's like, whoa! Wait till I tell my friends about this tomorrow. That's how I feel. They're on the floor, they're crying, or they're knocked out, and there's nothing you can do but just sit there and shake your head like you shouldn't. God's stupid.
Nobody's trying to drive a wedge except those Democrats who are saying it. Journalists are just trying to understand the relationship between Trump and Musk because it's one of the most important relationships of the next 4 years.
We're literally calling it as we see it. Elon Musk put out on social media that he didn't like the bill. Then there was a statement from Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and then everything fell apart. Brian, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Have a good holiday.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Yes, well, corporate media is going out. It's dying out. The new media is taking over, and this is the new wave. This is how the world will operate. But the thing is, there's a problem with new media too, and that is a jackboot of online censorship. One old system dies out, but there's problems with the new system too. So when I say keep your heads on a swivel and empower yourselves, you must do it. And I have some examples of proud citizen journalists here in my live stream chat. We got Roger Meadows. We got Case Study QB. Hey, Mastermind Hour, good to see you, buddy. We got Charlie Brown Politics. Hey, we also have Social Emotional Learning with Dr. Downing. We got a lot of people. Miss Witchy Perfect. All these people have their own podcasts, their own shows. All right, citizen journalists have to start stepping up. Heartlands Media encourages that. Each of you has to be a legion in your own right. But corporate media is dying out. What a sight to see. It's the beginning stages. Now they could recover, but will they ever be back to their amount of influence ever again? Well, that's the big question mark.
Radio station just censored the word devil. Clearly, we are on a different level. I guess you wouldn't notice all the rolling boulders crashing past your shoulders when you're taught to shift your focus lower, scream at all the pebbles, cheering on the bombers because you can't abide the rebels. But I bet you'll wring your bloody hands when all the dust has settled, when the last little limb is pulled from Gaza's twisted metal. Then you can say how you were led astray, and never once in all your days would you have knowingly supported all the genocide for which you clapped and prayed. But they baited you with unconfirmed blurbs about babies until you were filled with rage. Yet someone told you babies had been starving, bombed, and caged for nearly 80 years in Gaza, and you looked the other way. So regret, but make it fashion. Go and pluck that final petal off a hyacinth on Instagram for every kid they kettled. Every son that Israel imprisoned when they're little, that they tortured for a decade, then surprised with their acquittal. And when they got released and saw their parents and whatever siblings hadn't met the missiles, they stared right through their middle. Their eyes don't seem to focus, and their words are all but dribble, like they're pondering the darkest riddle. That is, how many false flags does it take to make humanity inhuman and uncivil, distorted by the revel? The crooked slant where Israel contorts into America, Biden bathing Bibi in a bloodbath in the bevel. I opened up my feed and I saw children disassembled. Turned some music on and heard the station censor devil. Imagine thinking Doja Cat's a threat to moral fabric in the single largest terror cell that ever felled a temple, that ever sparked a cleansing, that ever burned a market, that ever raped with bayonets or carpet-bombed apartments, that ever turned your water off and left you in the darkness, left you doing surgery on children while they're conscious. You sing the devil's praises every time you sing our anthem. You sing a hymn to him that watched us birth a million phantoms. You'll proudly wave his flag, and yet you will not name the devil? Well, clearly, we are on a different level. I can give you names, shit, I'll give you several. They say the devil wears a different face for every general, like a composite of the char he brought to fields of emerald, and the wail of every childhood we made ephemeral. So who else has left the stain of blood on everything they touch? Who else can starve civilians and they don't so much as blush? Who else has paid for Gaza being flattened into dust? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. That's U.S. What an ugly couple letters. Feeding shit and ignorance to those it chose to tether. From the river to the sea, both are slowly growing redder. For the devil that you know just knows you better. It knows every gut reaction it could ever make you feel. It knows fear is that which wakes you up and gets you on your wheel. It knows just the kind of story that will justify its war. And the scripts are wrapped for World War IV. So just imagine my surprise to give the radio a listen and to hear such pious morals out of Zionists and Christians that they'd take the devil's name and try to clip it from existence while they carry out his bloody business. You would wave a fascist flag, and yet you honor not your Iblis? Name you not Apollyon? Hush you now your witness? Bleed the name of Belial till tongue is rolling listless in the man-made mouth of Mammon, as Lamia's whispers listen. When carts are wheeling bodies through the cities that we crushed, and the very air is rotten with decay of all that was, who else would censor devil yet behave as Legion does? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. U.S., but not a unity of souls. More a mass of corporations turning houses into holes, turning people into puppets, turning puppets into mold, turning mold into nutrition bars worth their weight in gold because they're bombing every bakery and burning every field with phosphorus that never once has wanted for a meal. The devil wears a mask and it delights in the reveal, in that moment where the face is let to peel. We do not love the underdog. We do not cheer the rebels. We lust for all their blood until the dust has finally settled. Then pity just ourselves that we were so misled to revel. Proudly wave his flag, and yet we will not name the devil.